humor consumers to the Life Happens, Laugh Anyway podcast. I'm comedian Tracy DeGraff.
And I'm Catherine, co-host.
And best friend.
That's right.
We say that every time.
Why do we do that?
I don't know, but we do.
That's fun.
We might have a brand new listener, Catherine.
That is true.
If you're listening for the very first time, welcome aboard.
That's right.
Buckle in. It's going to be a ride.
Choo-choo.
Here we go. I'm looking at our map in the pod lab.
Yeah, we have to update it.
We do. We have a little yellow pin in all of the regions. We have listeners, some of which we have to look up sometimes to figure out where we put in this pin.
That's okay.
Yeah. Like, what is this? Do you remember?
It's not Asia. No.
Anyway, we don't know our geography that much.
We do too.
All right. Except for that one. I don't know why my brain went there. This is episode number 25. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's very cool.
Yeah.
Considering what you told me earlier about the average length of a podcast life.
I heard that on average, podcasts, they don't make it to episode 7.
Well.
When Catherine says, we ain't no quitters.
Right.
I can't believe people quit like that.
Or whatever happens.
Well, they don't have anything to say. They run out of words, I guess.
That could be.
All right, maybe we should get to the topic.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's all right.
Our topic today is violent crime and how to avoid being a victim of it.
Yeah, which follows very well after our last episode, which was on true crime.
Yes, we talked about why women specifically are addicted or seem to be addicted to true crime podcasts and shows and things. And then we thought, it'd be great to follow up with how to avoid being a victim.
Yeah.
So that's what we're talking about today. We've got a couple takeaways. One, we're going to do just that, talk about how to avoid being a victim so that you're never in that position.
Yeah.
But two, if you do find yourself in that position, what do you do?
That's right.
That's very important to know.
Put up your dukes.
Plan ahead, ladies. And then thirdly, I have found some tips from an actual mugger, somebody who mugged over 100 people.
Takes one to know one.
It does. And he's in jail now, thankfully. But I'm going to share tips that he shared on how to avoid people like him so that you don't get mugged.
Very good.
Yeah, very, very good. All right, well, let's start with trying to prevent ourselves from even being in that situation.
Yeah.
What you got for me, Catherine?
Well, and we'll start out by saying that we know that you can't prevent everything, but what you can do to kind of prepare in the event that you do. And I have a scary stat.
Okay.
That, so street attacks and harassments and assaults in general affect 65% of women today. So that's why we're doing this podcast, right?
Okay, so out of 100 women, you're telling me that 65 out of 100
in
women,
one way or another, right?
Because, like, I'm picturing our little church ladies, like our church is maybe 100 people at a time or something. We go to a small church. 65 of them are going to be assaulted or harassed.
In one way or another.
Wow.
You know what I'm just...
What happened?
Oh, no. I just thought of on The Office.
Yeah?
Phyllis, when she gets punished. We said church ladies, so it came to mind.
Okay. All right.
Oh, that was okay.
It's
not funny.
You can't help it.
It's not funny, but it is. That's why it's on the show. All right. And a serious note, though.
Come back, Catherine.
Yeah, I'm coming back.
Okay.
80% of female victims of rape, sexual assault are attacked by someone they know. But the other 20% are these strangers, and that's what we're talking about.
What's that?
I was just thinking about when I came up and scared you when you were scrolling your phone and
yes.
I scared the
For
tar
sure.
out of you. Okay, anyway, go ahead.
Yeah.
So
it
you're
means-
distracted. Yes.
Yeah,
I get you.
Yeah. Whether you're literally talking on the phone or you're doing something, texting, scrolling,
Right.
whatever. On the other hand, one of the arguments is, but you can quickly make a phone call or if you're on the phone with somebody and you're having a conversation, that other person can call 911 for you. But I guess the stats are that doesn't really happen.
Yeah,
it's not likely.
I don't see that going down.
Right.
I'd have to go, wait a minute, I have to unlock my phone. Oh, when's my birthday?
Yeah. So, number 2 point, keep your bag, like your purse, on your less dominant shoulder. And I tried that on the way here. So I walked down to Tracy's house this morning. I thought, I'm going to put my bag on my less dominant shoulder. Oh, it's so difficult. But the reason they say that is because you want your dominant arm to be free for, so you can bend yourself.
Okay, so that's a good tip.
Yeah. Don't advertise your purchases. So if you have an expensive purse, don't carry it around. And it's kind of like being flashy, they're saying on this piece of advice.
Yeah, that's sort of a catch-22 because sometimes women want the designer purse because they want the designer purse, but that might make them more of a target because a crook might think they have more money in the purse.
Yeah.
They don't realize that they spent all the money on the purse.
Yeah. And I guess it just depends on, where you're carrying it, whether you're traveling. But these things happen even in parking lots when you're shopping.
Yeah.
So I feel like, too, that puts it back on the woman. Like, don't dress like this. Don't do this. Don't do that.
And what are you going to do?
Right.
It is what it is out there.
Yeah. I already said that. Learn how to exude confidence. And I found that in a lot of different articles. I looked at so many different websites, and a lot of them said that. And also look at the potential perpetrator in the eye, give them the stink eye.
Oh my gosh. I gotta tell you this. So, when I was fresh out of college, I was sharing an apartment with 2 other girls that were about my age. So we were all early 20s, like 22. Mm-hmm. Okay, so 3 girls, early 20s, were sharing an apartment. One's a nurse, and then another one, she was working and a student, and I was working at the junior college. So we're coming and going all times of the night because my nurse friend was working at night. Anyway, my other friend, not the nurse friend, but my other friend, she used to ride public transportation all the time.
Oh.
And that was her trick. Her purse she'd been mugged.
Oh, okay.
Not hurt, but they stole her purse. They just wanted her purse and they grabbed it and took off. Mm-hmm. But it was still scary.
Yeah.
So then every time she would look at anybody, she would look them in the eye and open her eyes super wide like she was nuts. She said, you gotta look crazy.
Yeah.
Because nobody wants to encounter a crazy person.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it kind of worked for her after that.
Yeah.
And it did give her confidence, like she had some control. Because in the case where her purse was stolen from her, it was outside of Cub Foods. Remember Cub Foods?
Oh, I sure do.
It used to be around.
Yeah.
And it was right by the watermelons.
Oh.
And
pick up that watermelon and smash it over his head.
And she wasn't paying attention. And this was way before cell phones. But she wasn't. If she had been looking around and looking at every single individual in her periphery like she was a crazy person, maybe that guy wouldn't have. I don't know.
Well, that's what they say to do. A lot of sources said to do that.
Yeah.
So
try it.
That's a good one. I'm going to try it.
Well, this is funny. We were in the pool this morning.
Oh, I wasn't going to say that, but go ahead.
We're in the pool because Catherine and I do everything together, and we're at the gym, and it's aerobics basically in the pool. Yeah. And it was a pretty full class, and there was...
Very full.
Yeah, it was very full. Which is good, because we're coming out of COVID, so now people are coming back. Well, there was a man in the class, and Catherine was all suspicious. I'm like, I think we're okay. We're in the pool. There's nothing to steal.
Yeah. I had,
your bathing suit. That'd be about it.
Yeah. Well, I had read so much about being, aware of your surroundings and paying attention to the people around you.
Yeah, you were hyper alert.
Well, for sure.
Yeah, but anyway, we got through it.
I'm obedient.
True.
Okay, and lastly, use your lion's roar. Loud.
Yeah. They don't like it loud.
Yeah. This man is freaking me out. Yeah. Whatever you gotta say.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's it. on that.
You know what I've heard about that? I've heard you should yell fire instead of help, because people are more likely to call 911 if they know there's a fire. If you yell help, help me, help, help, like that, they might not know what to do. But if you yell fire, call 911, I don't know.
Well, my brain is going to, well, that would be, for one, a false alarm. And two, if you really need help and you're yelling fire, they're going to be looking, where's the fire? When really the problem is right on you.
Yeah, true that. You scratch that.
Yeah.
Okay, you got anything else?
No, not for that. It was simple.
Right. Well, let me share a couple of the things that I found along that same vein of how to prevent a crime from happening, a violent crime. And this is more so, it's from law enforcement. So, and we're going to put some of these links in the show notes so you can read the full article if you want to. And this is for in your home. So it might sound like common sense, but we're going to go over it anyway. Number 1, lock your doors.
Yes.
And your windows.
Yeah, we didn't used to do that, Penny and I, in our family. And no, we just had a sense of security out in the country, which
it's a
false
sense of
yes,
security.
It is.
No matter who's listening to this right now, no matter where you live, lock up.
Yeah.
Lock up your doors, lock up your windows, lock your car. Every time you get in the car, get into the habit of get in the car and hit the locks. You know, sometimes we have those automatic locks where once you start going, it locks. But especially for women, we're oftentimes a target when you're in the parking lot. And so the recommendation is to lock up as soon as you get in the car. Okay. Number 2, in the home, cut back your shrubs because they can hide in there. Number 3, this makes common sense, good lighting. You know, I remember being afraid to keep the lights on all night because it was expensive, you know, because it's a light bill or whatever. Keep the lights on.
Yeah.
And then number 4, if you have it in your community, get active with Community Watch. I've heard this many times over the years that those neighborhoods who have those Community Watch programs are way less targeted.
Oh, really? Oh, it works, huh?
Apparently.
Yeah.
It has an impact, you know, in some way. Okay, and then from the criminal's perspective, this is the interview, this was a YouTube interview that I watched, and this criminal gave 10 tips on how to not be a victim of somebody like him. Number 1, like the interviewer asked him, well, what's your approach? Because this guy had mugged over 100 people, 100 victims. And he said, what was your approach? He would ask them, what time is it?
Oh.
Or ask for directions.
Yeah.
So this was back in the day when people wore wristwatches, which younger people are like, what's that? It's a phone on your wrist with a strap. It tells you what time it is. So he would look to see if the person had a wristwatch, and if they did, he would ask them, what time is it? And then when they would go to move their wrist to look, or I guess somebody could ask you that and you could go for your phone to look.
Yeah, same thing.
Yeah. The point was he was going to strike at the moment that they were distracted.
Yeah, they're disarmed, really.
Yeah. So make sure if somebody asks you what time it is or they ask you for directions, that you could answer them, but from a distance. You keep your distance, or you could just ignore them and keep going, which would probably be better. Okay. So that was actually number 2, was to, the question was, how do you respond? And that is to keep your distance, keep walking, and most importantly, do not look down.
Oh, yeah.
Don't look down. Keep your eyeballs up. Yeah, and look crazy. All right. Number 3, who is a target? So the interviewer asked this criminal, who did you target? And he said, weak people. Weak. Like, you know, definitely women. Although, this is interesting what he said about women. He said that women would scream. And that would get, you don't want a loud target.
Right. Get your lion's roar out.
Yeah. So in that respect, you know, yeah, like he said, definitely elderly women were a target. But women who he thought might scream, he might pass them up. And go for men more so. Quiet is a thing. Okay. Another tip that he gave was have mace in your hand.
Yeah.
It's a deterrent.
Yeah.
Not in your purse. Not, if it's in your purse, it's not going to help you.
Right.
It has to be in your hand.
And a little discreet, too. Because you don't want the perpetrator to see it. Oh, maybe you do want them to see it, actually. That they don't try to approach you.
I think if a crook who was going to try to bonk you on the head and take your purse or whatever, or attack you, if they knew you had mace, I think they would look for somebody who didn't have the mace.
Yeah.
You know what I think would be a good crime deterrent tool is to have the mace attached to a long strap that you can wear like in a diagonal around your body.
Yeah.
And have it say on there, I'm armed with mace. Like in bright, like safety colors or whatever, so it can be read from a distance, like something wide, you know? So that everybody anywhere knows you've got the mace and you are not afraid to use it.
Yeah.
That might be something. Let's start a business. Let's sell mace.
Yeah.
Okay, so another deterrent is a whistle or a horn.
Oh, yeah.
So you definitely have your voice, but in the moment of chaos, what if you panic or you can't get the sound out?
Yeah. How often do you hear a whistle nowadays? I mean, if I heard a whistle in the middle of the street, I would definitely be turning.
Yeah. Because
you really only hear that like on the soccer field or football field, sports type
thing. He said that's definitely a deterrent. So, you know what would be good?
Uh-oh.
I know I'm getting all these ideas. A mace thing on a strap with the safety thing that says, I have mace, and a whistle somehow in the, like a whistle right here attached to the...
Oh, I want to talk about some things I found attached.
You want to talk now?
Go ahead and finish
so
up.
Don't forget. Okay, just two more things. The interviewer asked the criminal, where are people most vulnerable? Like in the city or the suburbs or the parking lot or your driveway? What do you think out of those four?
I think your driveway.
You are right.
Yeah.
You are right. You're most vulnerable in your comfort
own
zone.
Setting. Yeah.
And I guess he didn't elaborate on why that is.
Well, here's what I'm thinking. Your guard is down.
Yeah.
And you may have been watched for quite some time, and you're completely unaware of that. It all goes back to your guard is down. Really, when you're at home, you're in your safety zone. Yeah. You're at home base.
Yeah. Stay alert, people. Okay, and then finally, this might be surprising to learn that Fridays are a day that people are more likely to get mugged than other days of the week because it oftentimes is payday.
Yeah.
And people have more money.
Cash.
Yeah.
Jeez.
I know. I was robbed once. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
I was robbed $300.
What?
Robbed me. Yeah, I had
I can't believe I don't know this.
Well, first of all, I never have $300 on me.
You know what I was going to say? I was going to say, was it a long time ago?
It was. So you know when it was? It was when we were moving next door to you. So I didn't know you yet. And we had closed our bank account in the previous town that we lived. And that was...
Oh, I do know this.
Yeah. So I had drained the money. That was all we had. $300. It was a lot to me.
And some thief took it?
Yes. Yes. And we had just built our house. And so we had poured a ton of cash into that. And I felt so violated.
Well,
you know?
Yeah.
Thankfully, here's what happened. I wasn't assaulted like in a dark alley or anything like that. I was at a restaurant. I had forgotten my purse underneath the table. And we walked out. And I called the restaurant because we had gotten almost home and it was quite a distance. I called the restaurant and I described my purse and all of that. And then we turned around and went back to the restaurant. They had the purse, but the money was gone.
Oh, gosh.
So who knows?
Yeah.
Who took it?
Well, thank goodness that you weren't mugged.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, that would have been way worse.
For sure. But I really was upset about that $300.
I know.
I think I'm over it now. It's only been 20 years.
Hope so.
We'll see.
Yeah.
I mean, often I was so upset that night.
Yeah.
That I cried. I was like, just so upset. And then I'm praying for the person to, like, turn the money into something.
Yeah.
Like, forget it. Just get over it. All right. What else have you got over there?
Well, on how to prevent being attacked?
Or whatever. Wherever you want to go.
Well, here's the thing is I want to acknowledge that there are so many tips that we have not mentioned.
Oh,
I mean, when you're going to your car, when you're in in a parking lot, when you are at a hotel and being aware of your surroundings. There's so many areas in which a woman is vulnerable.
Yeah.
And we know that we're only touching on it a little bit.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I'd like to say, gosh, be careful when you're at a truck stop or a rest stop.
Yeah.
And no matter how old you are, because women victims are between 15 and 49. That's the highest rate. So
I think that it's a good tip for all of us everywhere, all the time. Be on your guard.
Yeah, right.
I mean, you hate to say it like that, especially nowadays, because it feels like the environment out there for criminals is more conducive. Like with police departments being defunded and different things happening in the news, I feel like they're more emboldened.
I think so too.
Not that I know.
Well, there have been articles about that,
Yeah,
kind of highlighting that issue of the cops not being the heroes that we made them out to be. Things like that. Yeah, there's been all kinds.
That was in our last podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, what else do you got to share?
Well, do you also have things on what to do if you are attacked?
No.
Well, I'm going to say, though, this is not part of my list, but Tracy and I were discussing the other day how if you happen to get, like, carjacked and a perpetrator is in the car and has a gun to your head or, let's say, even a knife, and that the advice is to run the car into whatever, smash it into a tree and whatever, something solid that's going to stop you and blow the airbag and do that. Don't go to the destination the perpetrator is telling you to go to. It's like that.
Right, because I think when we were talking about that, it was something like it would be better to die there in the car, because like, what if you said, well, what if the car crash kills me? Better to die there in the car, because wherever you're going, you're about to die.
Yeah, of a violent and much more horrible what's going through my mind.
Right.
With that. Yeah. I thought that was a really good piece of advice. Don't do things like if you're driving past and another car is driving by and they're trying to a man is trying to signal you to that there's something wrong with your car. Yeah, don't pull over.
Pull over. Yeah.
Definitely don't do that.
Ooh, and if you're stuck in the trunk of a car, you're supposed to kick out the tail light and stick your hand out there.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'd be able to do that, but I guess I would try.
I think you would probably have an array of ideas and super strength if that
perhaps
came
to you. I would, because I'm claustrophobic, so I would be clawing out like a mama raccoon.
I think you would be. Yeah, right. Well, I think we all have like a whole arsenal of powers that we can kind of call upon in these situations. That being said, if you're attacked, don't think, just react. Fight for your life with whatever you've got. Whether if it is your hands, use them. But that was the first piece of advice from this thing. Turn what you think is working against you into something that works for you. So if you are, if your heels are working against you and the fact that you can't run in them, well, use them in a way that you can. Take it and stomp it on his foot. I say his, it could be her, but it's likely. Do things like that. Or if you have something that's like cumbersome, like your jewelry and it's flapping when you're running, use it. Like throw it. And those were the bits of advice to go with that.
I also saw somewhere in the research for today's episode that if somebody wants your purse, just throw it. Throw it in a direction that is kind of away from the perpetrator so that they'll go after it and then you can get away from them. Run away.
Right.
That's what they want is your purse. Give it to them.
Yeah. I'm thinking I have this image of throwing something to a dog and you throw it past the dog and they have to go running for it.
Yeah. Well, you certainly don't want to escalate any situation. So if a robber or a mugger, if what they want is money, give them the money. If they want jewelry, give them the jewelry.
Yeah.
Give them everything. Get away from them.
Yeah.
And don't give them your life. And this guy who was in prison, one of the comments that he also made, which wasn't necessarily a point, but it was like a follow-up response to a question. He said, you don't want to escalate the situation. That's exactly what he said, was if the perpetrator wants money, that can be replaced in your world. Give them the money.
Yeah.
And get away from them.
Yeah.
But don't try to hold back and protect your money at the risk of getting harmed.
Yeah, I would say don't challenge them.
No.
Because they may just take that challenge or consider it a challenge.
Right. And then if you stir up anger, then you might have a whole nother set of challenges to overcome.
Yeah. There's a lot of nutballs out there. Okay, number 3, hit your attacker where it hurts. If you're in a chokehold, don't reach for his arms. Instead, use your knees to hit him in the groin or knee.
How could you do that if you're in a chokehold? Doesn't that mean they're behind you?
Exactly.
So how do you use your knee?
No, you kick him in the knee. So if he's got you in a chokehold, so that's up here in your neck area. And if your arms are free, don't use them to try to grab his arms to get yourself free. Instead, take your foot and jam it into his groin or his knee. And if you think about that, his knee would be going backwards then.
Oh, yeah, that would hurt.
Yeah, that would hurt a lot.
Okay.
A real lot. Okay. If you're going to carry a safety item, whether it's a gun, whether it's mace, or have you ever seen those? They're like this little keychain.
Yeah.
It's like a cat.
Yes, I have seen that.
Yeah, you put your fingers through what would be the cat eyes, and then you're left with 2 pokey ears, like triangle shape, and they're just plastic. You just can stab the guy with it in whatever way that you can, in the eyes, face. You can hurt him. And I read something about, but be careful because it might be illegal in your state. And I'm thinking, it's illegal for him to attack me.
Right.
So I don't care. It's tiny.
Plus, when you're under an attack, who cares?
That's what I think. Yeah. It's a little, because it said, even though it's plastic, I'm thinking, hey, that's illegal. Then I don't know what to say about that because it's illegal for him to do what he's doing. Right. Oh, and when in doubt, bitch slap.
What's that mean?
I know. I was like, well, I think of bitch slap. I think of smack, smack on the cheek.
Okay.
But it was something way more aggressive than that. It was
just go nuts on it.
Just, stiffen your arm and just with everything you've got, I feel like I'm doing it. Just with everything you've got, punch him in the ear. And that's considered a bitch slap. But that's, like I said, not my definition.
That sounds like good advice.
Yeah. By the way, too, I just want to mention there are, you can wear undershorts that have incorporated in them an alarm activated by pulling on cut resistance cords that are made from the same material as bulletproof vests. And this was invented by a woman who had been assaulted. And she came up with these shorts. They're called safe shorts. They even have a little lock on them. And like I said, the cords cannot be cut by regular...
Wait. Is it like a modern day chastity belt? Is that
That's funny because I was thinking of that too.
Well, it sounds like it if it's like... Well, I hate to use the word impenetrable, but if it's impenetrable, isn't that what it's implying? That a criminal who's going to try to rape you is not going to be successful if you have these shorts on?
He's not going to be able to get her pants down. Yeah. Right. It's impossible. Okay. So if he tries and to pull the pants down or pull this cord, it sets off an alarm that goes to wherever she's designated it to go off to.
So is the alarm audible to her and the perpetrator in the moment, or is it like signaling the police like come to this location?
Let's see. I don't know.
I could see an alarm going off in the moment.
I think it does. This also activates when someone tries to remove the garment by force.
That's a serious level of commitment on the woman's part to prevent crime.
For sure. You should see the look on her face. She's got this serious, like, you don't mess with me.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, and I can understand if you've been victimized.
Yep.
I would. Mm-hmm. I mean, I can't understand because I've not been victimized. No. I think that if you had been a victim of a violent crime, that makes sense.
Yeah. In fact, this site, it's a BBC. BBC put this out, and it's a few women who had been attacked who came up with these inventions.
Wow.
That I actually want to get some. So this other gal, she has this pendant. It's a necklace, and it's actually like a panic button.
Cool.
Yeah. There's another one that, it's a ring, and it's the same concept, but when you press on it, it can activate either.
Sorry.
Tracy's. You ever she's trying to hold back a yawn, and that look that people get when they try to hold it back is quite funny.
I'm not tired and I'm not bored. Sorry. It just came on me.
My co-host is falling asleep during her own podcast. I hope our listeners are not falling asleep.
No, go ahead.
Come on now, we're talking about being motivated.
Yes.
I'm all pumped up. I feel like I could just punch somebody right now. I felt like that in the pool this morning.
Yes, you did.
I did.
It's funny.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's make sure that we remind me when we do the show notes.
Yeah.
To put that in there.
Yeah.
Because now I'm curious. I got to see what these pants look like. And, okay, that's what it also got me going. Mm-hmm. I'm thinking, I hope they have some spandex in those pants, because how are you going to get them on? Because I'd be setting off the alarm just trying to get my pants on and get them off.
Now that you're saying that, so the picture shows a lock at a combination lock, no less.
It's a chastity belt.
At her waistband. I'm thinking, ooh, every time you have to go to the bathroom, you gotta undo all that stuff. Hey, if you've been attacked,
right,
and I think this is more for runners. Like, I think this gal was out running. Moral of the story is don't run.
Go join the gym and get in the pool with all the seniors. But there's no.
Okay. Anyway.
Go ahead.
So the smart ring, I'm going to look into this a little more.
What does the ring do?
The smart ring is like a panic button as well. And it can alert whoever you have set up to be alerted, whether it's your husband, your friend, whatever. That person will be alerted that you're in danger. And I think it has somewhat of a GPS, almost like find my phone. Or,
it would have to. Otherwise, what are you going to do?
Right. So those are some neat things there.
Cool.
Yeah.
Very exciting.
And I think we should all be taking self-defense classes. I say that, but I always intended to, and I never did. I wish I had.
CPR, both of them.
Oh, I know. Darn.
Well, put it on the list of things to do.
Oh.
All right. What else you got? Anything?
No, that's it.
All right. Well, this has been an interesting walkthrough.
Yeah, for sure.
Just skimming the surface of how to not be a victim of a violent crime.
Yeah. I wish we could list all of it, but we would drone on and on.
I'd be sound asleep.
Yeah. I think it would be.
Our listeners would hear this.
Yeah.
Catherine gives me a hard time because I'm such a good sleeper.
Mm.
And I just fall asleep and stay asleep.
You do. You fall asleep easily. I actually can fall asleep kind of easy, but I just can't stay asleep.
Yeah. Anyway, all right. Well, let's share some inspiration.
Yeah.
Some spiritual inspiration to our friends here that have joined us on this podcast, because we can't leave them down in the dumps.
No.
We have to lift them up.
We've got to lift you up.
So Catherine found this beautiful prayer.
Yeah.
So read the prayer.
All right. This is something we would encourage you to do with us and even on your own. Just pray for this protection.
Yeah.
So the prayer is, Heavenly Father, thank you for being our protector. Look to you for your shelter from all hurt, harm, and danger. We put our faith in your name. We find our complete protection and safety in you, our Heavenly Father. And so by faith, we run to you for safety.
Yes, amen.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that comforting, friends,
mm-hmm.
listeners?
Mm-hmm.
That should be very comforting.
Yeah.
Because it is a big, bad, old, broken world out there that we all live in, but we can take comfort and hope in our God.
Mm-hmm.
So let's do that. We're going to put the prayer in the show notes.
Okay.
So that if anybody that's listening wants to have a copy of the prayer, we'll have it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Our next episode, this is very exciting.
Mm-hmm.
Catherine and I, we both gained weight during COVID.
Mm-hmm.
And we gained weight that we lost previously to COVID.
Right.
And a few pounds. So we gained it all back. Plus a little
Keeps
bit.
adding on.
Well, it's not new weight, it's old weight. I've been fighting.
No, I have new weight.
Well, I know, but I mean, we have the old weight first, and then the new weight.
Yeah.
So we have the old and the new.
Yeah.
Both. So, but
that's the good news. What's the good news?
The good news is we never give up. We're like old Winston Churchill that way. Never, 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 never. We never give up. And we decided that together, because we're besties and we do things together and we motivate each other. Together, we are going to do a 100-day journey, wellness journey.
Right.
And we're going to talk about that in our next episode, so don't miss it, because maybe you too are like us and, went for the comfort food during the pandemic, and the stretchy pants. And before you know it, you can't fit into anything.
Yeah. Or you're just discouraged.
Well,
you want a new plan.
Yeah. And you can only blame the pandemic for so long.
Right.
Now it's time to get up and do something about it.
Yeah.
Right. So we have looked into a couple different things that we're implementing. One of which is the gym.
That's right.
Our gym was closed during the pandemic. Yours probably was too, if you're, a gym person. So the gym was one thing, and we also looked into intermittent fasting, which our friend down the street, Carol, she told me about it, and then I told you about it.
Yeah.
And Carol seems to have it together. She seems to know what she's talking about. So intermittent fasting, so that's another cue. And then the other thing which I found, which led me to the Galveston diet.
Yeah.
Which is sort of a healthy version of the intermittent fasting thing. We're going to talk about all of it next episode.
Yes.
So tune in.
Tune in.
You've been listening to Life Happens Laugh Anyway, and I'm still comedian Tracy DeGraff.
I'm still Catherine.
See you next time.
Bye-bye.